Student, welcome to my channel. Now I am going to explain one questions about calculation of opening capital. So I wrote one question here. That means wrote it, X and Y are the partners in a firm. Their capital at the end of the year. End of the year means 31st March. 3 lakh and 2 lakh. That means the closing capital of X was 3 lakh and the Y for 2 lakh. Calculate the opening capital on the basis of the following information. So, whatever the information it is given, on that basis you have to calculate the opening capital. So, what are the information? First, drawings of X and Y for the year were 30,000 and 40,000. That means X withdraw 30,000 during the year. Similarly, Y withdraw 40,000 for the year. Then interest on capital of X and Y were 10,000 and 15,000. So interest it is credited to X 10,000 and to Y 15,000. X introduced 70,000 during the year. Introduce means he brought more, that is additional capital. But only X brought it. So X introduced 70,000 during the year. Then interest on drawing rupees 2,000 and 3,000. Then here it is written share of profit of rupees 35,000 each, means both. X will also get 35,000, Y will also get 35,000. So on the basis of the following, that means on the information, now I am going to solve these questions, how to calculate the opening capital. So you see now. So here that means I have already drawn it, the format partners capital account, I wrote it. That means particulars for X and for Y, particulars X and Y, debit credit. Means balance BD, that is opening capital, that I have to calculate it. What are the things? First, closing capital. Closing capital of X it is given. Closing capital of X it is given. So I wrote it under the column of X 3 lakhs and for Y 2 lakhs. Then here it is given. Drawing during the year of X. X withdraw 30,000. So under the column of X I wrote 30,000 and for Y 40,000. Because the drawing we have to write on the debit side. Then X introduce 70,000. Introduce means that is additional capital. By cash or bank, under the column of the X I wrote it 70,000. Then interest on capital of X and Y 10,000. Interest on capital of X how much? That means he got it 10,000. So under the column of the X we will get the interest on capital 10 and for Y it is 15,000. Share of profit 35,000 each. That means X got 35,000, Y also got 35,000. We have to calculate this one, that is opening capital, balancing figure, that we have to calculate it. We have to calculate. How I calculate it? You see now. Means this is the closing capital plus drawing plus interest on drawing. So we have to add it. 3 lakh plus 30,000 plus 2,000. That is 3 lakh 32,000. Minus additional capital 70,000 minus interest on capital 10,000 minus profit 35,000. So that means these three things minus, that means it is how much? 1,15,000. Then after deducting it, that is 2,17,000. That is balancing figure. 2,17,000 of X. So the formula last video I explained you, closing capital plus drawing plus interest on drawing minus profit, clear? Minus interest on capital minus additional capital. All the things what is written on the credit side you have to minus it. Similarly for Y. This is the closing capital plus drawing plus interest on drawing minus, because he has not introduced the additional capital. So minus interest on capital minus profit. So that means this side, debit side is 2,43,000 minus, that means 50,000. So the balancing figure 1,93,000. That is balancing figure. So this is the calculation of opening capital.